Oh, it's live, pal.
Sorry.
We will ban you from the Summerfest.
Right here in the Silverdome.
Jeff Harvey.
And I have half the brain that you do.
Welcome to the Wrestle Hunks podcast, a podcast where three hunks get together and discuss some of the very worst things you can find on the WWE network, and the only podcast that won't stalk Liv Morgan at the airport. I'm your host, the Mordecai of microphone, Brandon Marlowe, and as always, I'm joined by the hunkiest hunk, Brody Price.
Nice to see you, boys.
Wow. I wasn't expecting you to say that.
that was your catchphrase we had to wait a week for.
Yeah. Was it worth it?
That was definitely
Should have built it up.
I'm not sure.
Sorry.
How's that 2K19 treating you?
I'll get stuck into it a bit more. I've been busy, you know. Yeah, getting the old evening gown match, a bit of a workout. If you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
You're buzzing, bro.
I'm also joined by the IMDb of wrestling, Nathan Marlowe.
The lads, how are we?
How's that 2K19 treating you?
I don't know. You tell me how your DLC is.
Look, I thought I had two separate codes for it. I was wrong.
Well, I'll just look at my DLC of Ronda Rousey Rey Mysterio.
The PR email made it sound like there was two codes there, so it's all on 2K.
No.
Ronnie 2K, he can rotate on it.
If Nat had got the game and you had got the DLC, that'd have been fucking hilarious.
Nah, I made sure I downloaded the game first, so I was like,
okay.
if I send it to him, that's not going to be a happy ending.
Yeah, that's smart.
So the Wrestle Hunks podcast has a new sponsor this week. We're brought to you by WWE Divas Desert Heat. And as always, our resident pervert, Nathan Marlowe, will tell you a little bit more about it.
Are you guys looking for some fun? This DVD has great wrestlers such as Dawn Marie, Tori Wilson, and some other girls. You get to see the Pilgrim Fashion Show, the Valentine's Day bra and panties match.
Oh, my internet's not working.
I thought that was going to be the part where you cut in with your normal speaking voice like you were doing for Nitro Grill.
Wait, let me refresh my notes.
Oh, well.
This is going perfectly.
Bra and panties on a pole with a paddle match. You've got 90 minutes of sticky, gooey fun.
Catch the release on April 15th, 2003. Divas Desert Heat. Out now.
I keep saying it every week, but that was the best one so far.
You just keep getting better.
Were you doing an impression there, or was that just you doing a creepy, weird pervert voice?
It was half between Pricey in 40 years and Vince McMahon.
Oh, I reckon you should take up professional voice acting after that.
Wow, thanks, man.
I wonder, where are those matches filmed that you talked about? Like, are they taken from like shows, or did they film them specifically for this weird DVD?
Yeah, from the shows. There's the Pilgrim Fashion Show in November 28th, SmackDown in 2002. We got the lingerie pillow fight between Terry and Stacey, which is Raw 2002. Bra and panties. I said it wrong. Sorry. Bra and panties / paddle on a pole match.
Wow.
There's double stipulation. October 2002 Raw. There's just that's a sticky situation. That DVD.
Basically, it's like when you have like the ladder match compilation DVD, but it's weird, creepy pervert diva matches interspersed with some photo shoots.
Yeah. There's
Can't believe we didn't buy that when we were kids.
Women's Revolution.
Do you reckon they're going to acknowledge these matches when we have Evolution?
They better.
They have a video package. All the highlights.
I don't even have the DVD yet, and my cover's already sticky.
Yeah, the old the network sticky.
I'll read out the chapters for you. Natural Beauty, Rough Riders, Shooting in Style, Ghost Town, River Run, and On the Set.
I can't wait to see Ghost Town.
It's one disc, so if you add up all the matches, there's 10 matches, and those kind of matches don't go very long. It goes for 90 minutes, the whole DVD. Like, it's one disc.
That's all you need.
Shit.
So this week on the podcast, we're reviewing the first ever episode of SmackDown, and this episode should be going live on the day of the 1000th episode of SmackDown, or maybe a little bit before. I'm not too sure. But we thought, what better way to celebrate such an enormous milestone for SmackDown than giving the podcast a SmackDown theme. This week we almost cracked 100 votes on the poll. The debut episode of SmackDown obviously won out our weekly poll in a landslide, garnering 42% of the vote. The rest of the options fought out a more competitive race, with the first ever Friday Night SmackDown coming in with 21%, the Big Show taking laxative episodes on 19%, and the Where To Teddy episode on 18%. There's a bit to get into about this poll, but most importantly, I finally won a poll, apparently. I don't remember suggesting the debut episode of SmackDown, but apparently, according to you, Pricey, that was my option.
Yeah, it was. And I came second again, so... yeah, good for you.
You know what they say, first is the worst.
Second is the best, mate.
I think I would have won if we wrote Big Show shitting instead of taking laxatives.
Big Show takes a big sloppy wet dump. Let's make that the... Oh, that brings me to the us calling the episode where Undertaker kidnaps Teddy Long Where To Teddy, which is the incorrect quote. It's actually Buckle Up Teddy, and it's Where To Stephanie.
Oh, wow. It's 2-in-1 episode.
Yeah, we're going to cover both.
Double feature.
Do you reckon Where To Teddy lost because we quoted it incorrectly?
Probably.
Yeah, 100%. People love that episode.
I know, at the start, it was pretty even between all of them. Like, that was getting votes. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just going to keep calling it Where To Teddy from now on. That's what it's referred to as.
Everyone
Fuck
knows
it.
it's the same shit.
It's close enough.
Yeah, it's the Teddy one with Undertaker. It's all the same thing.
So what are some of our favourite memories of SmackDown we've had over the years? There's 999 episodes so far, so surely there's been a few that you look back on fondly.
My first memories of SmackDown were John Cena rapping and Eddie Guerrero. So anything to do with them. And I don't know if you guys saw, but I don't remember what it was called, but they released a video today, sort of documenting Eddie and his time on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I heard about it. I haven't seen it though.
Watching it at work, jeez, I almost fucking started crying at work. It would have been really weird for people walking past, but yeah, just seeing the stuff like all that Eddie did on a SmackDown, a lot of memorable moments, and then the tribute show that they had. Yeah, that was a pretty special moment as well, I think.
What about you, Nat?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head except for La Familia.
That's a good memory to have.
That's all that's coming to my head for some reason. The Major Brothers, the Edgeheads, Chavo, Bam Neely, Edge, and Vicky, and then I think sometimes Big Show.
Yeah, what's Bam Neely doing these days?
I don't know.
So many random people like rolled through SmackDown like at that time, like Bam Neely, Luther Reigns.
Oh, I'll tell you my favorite, Eric Escobar.
Yeah, Eric Escobar for a month.
That was a thing that happened. For sure.
Hey, he was on the bragging rights team, and I think they won.
Yeah, because of him.
He was a surprise package. No one knew how to plan for him. They'd never seen him before.
I reckon someone sabotaged his career because they knew he was going to go straight to the top.
It doesn't say Bam Neely officially retired.
Maybe died.
2010 is the last entry, though. However,
my like memories of SmackDown are like, I reckon from like 2006 to probably like 2010. I feel like that was my prime era for SmackDown. Real just like Batista, Great Khali, Edge feuds. Those were my golden years, which is
Rey
unfortunate.
Mysterio.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio holding the title and then just getting squashed and being put in a feud with Chavo.
The days.
I'm jealous you got to watch the Great Khali. That guy can work.
Hey, I was scared of him. Back then. I was still kayfabing it up, and I was like, "Who can beat him? He's like 700 feet tall.
He can squash melons with his hands.
He keeps putting the vice grip in, and they bleed out of their mouths for some reason."
Yeah, he's squeezing blood out, man. That's the only way it can come out.
I was really kayfabing it up back then. I remember when Paul London and Brian Kendrick were tag champs, and then they brought in the William Regal, Dave Taylor team, and they were building them up really, really big before like No Mercy or something. And I was like, "Fuck, there's no way London and Kendrick can win. These guys are too strong. These old guys." And London and Kendrick won, and I was like, "Oh, that was cool."
Just flipped around him.
They're really working me hard back then.
Oh, you're a little fucking mark back then, weren't you?
Oh, still am, debatably. So, had either of you seen the debut episode of SmackDown before, or any of the stuff on this card before?
No. I felt like I had memories of it, even though I couldn't. I tried to think and like write down what I would remember from it. No idea. I couldn't write anything. The only thing I had down was, I think Rock and Triple H had a match, which I thought was wrong when I started watching the pilot episode. But no, I had no memories of this. It was a little bit before my time.
I've seen the main event, and I've seen the Jericho Road Dogg match.
Really?
Yes.
I genuinely hadn't seen like any of this SmackDown debut episode before, and I don't even think I'd heard anything about it. I don't even remember. Like, Shawn Michaels was here. All this random stuff was happening that I had absolutely no memory of. I don't even remember SmackDown being a thing in 1999.
Yours was a goober.
Yeah, we were pretty young back then.
Yeah, I was still a Nitro mark in 1999, I think. Just watching Sting just wear red face paint.
Can't believe you jumped ship, man.
You know what? I saw a sinking ship, and I jumped off just in time.
Me and Goldberg, WWE for life.
Unfortunately, there's no Goldberg on SmackDown, really. Did he ever appear on SmackDown?
Maybe for like the Brock feud in 04.
Yeah, he might have done it for
an
that.
appearance, maybe. But apart from that, I don't think so.
Oh, that just automatically shows you that SmackDown is the B show.
Yeah, if you don't have Goldberg, what do you have?
So it's time to get into the history, build-up, and background of the debut episode of SmackDown. It was held on August 26, 1999. I think that was actually the date it aired, but it was taped 2 days prior. And on this day in history, Michael Johnson breaks the 400-meter world record with a time of 43.18 seconds. Lilo Hardell, a German rider, dies at 85. Nat, surely you have something to say about that.
I guess you could say he was hard done by. That's all I could come up with on the spot.
Where's Stitch?
That's why he died. Couldn't find Stitch. Died of heartbreak.
Yeah, makes sense. Shout out to that show. I loved that when I was a kid.
Are you talking about the movie or the actual TV show?
Definitely a movie. I don't recall watching the TV show as much.
I don't remember watching the TV show. I feel like I watched the TV show and never watched the movie.
Yeah?
It's living life backwards.
I wouldn't have a clue, actually. I don't know. It's all the same.
Speaking of movies, the number one movie at the box office was The Sixth Sense, and the number one song on the charts was Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera.
Oh, whoops. Just listening to it right now. Oh,
it's your ringtone.
I believe it.
Someone's calling you.
You don't believe it. Oh, whoops. Sorry, guys.
Fucking hell. That's well done.
What a coincidence.
That's
It's
just...
better that you didn't. It's better than you didn't tell us that you were going to do that. That's right.
That was, you had that lined up in your favorites on Spotify, didn't you? That's one of your most listened to songs.
I had to go through my liked videos. It didn't take me long since I liked it yesterday.
Wow. Did you actually?
No.
I was going to say, what a coincidence.
Do it for the bit.
No, you're working me.
What's the finish to The Sixth Sense? I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I watched it and I called it.
It's where... Do you know when
Which one's The Sixth Sense?
The Sixth Sense. You don't know what The Sixth Sense is now?
Sure, I've seen it.
You would have had the ending spoiled. So it's the movie where Bruce Willis is in it, and the kid can see dead people.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's a
And
good
then
movie.
The twist at the end is that Bruce Willis is dead.
That's right. Yeah.
I've never seen The Sixth Sense, and I kind of don't want to watch it because the twist sounds like the whole point of it.
You got to look at the images of it. The bike rider at the end.
The Sixth Sense is like one of the first things that gets spoiled for you in life, up there with the Empire Strikes Back twist.
Are you telling me that I didn't guess it and someone actually told me and I just forgotten that they told me?
Possibly.
Because I was watching that and I was like, I'm going to watch The Sixth Sense. And then I just halfway through, I'm like, oh, this cunt's dead. Surely he's dead. Like, what a fucking joke this is. And then it happened. I felt so smart afterwards.
Maybe you were just one of them smarks for The Sixth Sense. You just know what's happening.
Yeah, I'm a fucking
Wait,
smart.
so yeah, you both haven't. Wait, so have you seen it, Pricey, all of it?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Oh, nice.
I've never
Do you
seen
like the
The
jump
Sixth
scare?
Sense.
Do you like the jump scares in it?
I get scared easily, so yeah.
I only watch movies with rocket explosions in them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually went and saw a movie with rocket explosions in them today, so...
What's that show, The Simpsons, where the Bart and Homer are watching with the buildings fall down?
Oh, yeah.
Where buildings collapse.
Is that what you watch?
That's what... We went and watched that on the big screen, the old buildings falling down.
What's your favourite
When
bit?
buildings collapse.
The part where the building fell over was my favourite part. So, the first ever episode of SmackDown was held in Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri. On telly, it did a 4.2 rating, which is a solid number to start with, and it would end up only growing from there in the coming years. And a lot of television ratings would probably kill for a rating like this in 2018, where ratings across the board are dying down. That's just like, I think that's double what SmackDown does in 2018 for 4.2, and it's definitely a considerable amount more than what Raw is doing at the moment. So building up to the show, in the March 29th Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer wrote, WWF is planning a new show that will air on the UPN network. The plan is for it to be a women's wrestling show modeled after the old Glow show from the 1980s with pretty girls, bad wrestling, and cheesy skits. Jim Ross and Bruce Pritchard were in LA this week, and there was a casting call full of actresses, bodybuilders, stunt women, martial arts women, etc. This wound up going nowhere, but WWF ends up with a little show called SmackDown on UPN very soon anyway, so it's kind of assumed that the SmackDown idea kind of morphs out of this women's wrestling show idea. I wonder if anything came out of this casting here, because I remember Lana and a bunch of other divas came through to the WWE with a kind of casting like this, so curious to see if anybody came out of it. They held a full big event, so surely they signed someone from here. Maybe they got Miss Kitty from here.
I thought maybe Liberty Bell or something like that. I don't know.
Sassafras.
Imagine they're showing up to do this casting call and just Jim Ross is there, big old Jim Ross.
I think Bruce Pritchard came out of it.
You reckon Bruce Pritchard got hired because of this?
No, he came out of it.
Well, send it into Bruce Pritchard as a question for one of those Q&A episodes he does on his podcast. Maybe we'll answer it.
That's a fair call.
I love you.
So this is the first time we hear about the WWF looking to branch out from the Raw show and start a new kind of proper show on UPN. Obviously, at this time, they have a bunch of real lower tier shows like Heat and Jacked and stuff like that. But this is their first formation of a proper show. In the April 19th Wrestling Observer newsletter, Meltzer writes, the upcoming 2-hour special airing on UPN later this month will be called WWF SmackDown. If the show is successful, it may lead to a weekly series, and it seems that they've scrapped the plans for it to be a women's show pilot. The next week, he reports, the upcoming special on UPN called WWF SmackDown will basically be patterned just like an episode of Raw. Right now, it's only a one-time special, but if it's successful, and it almost certainly will be, it's believed that it will likely turn into a weekly show. The idea of doing an all-women's show has seemingly already been dropped. UPN doesn't want the show to be live, so they can edit out anything they don't like, so most likely it'll be a taped 1-hour show, and Dave expects it will air on Wednesday nights, although it could end up on Tuesday or Thursday. So basically, Dave has no idea what night it's going to air on. He's named every night of the week because Friday night's like seen as like a terrible time slot. So he's basically said Monday is Raw, so it could be any other day except the weekend and Friday.
You still
didn't
fucked
say
it up.
it also might be on Monday as well. Like, you might as well.
It could be before Raw, and it could also
Cover all your
maybe be on a
bases.
Sunday or a Saturday.
What a dumb dog.
You just never know.
He's just pulling this out of his ass. So this leads us to the special pilot episode of SmackDown that surprisingly few people actually know about or remember, and some of us even accidentally watched it instead of the debut episode of SmackDown.
Man, I'm so glad that I stopped watching like after 5 minutes to go do something. I remember what I had to do. I had to go do something. So I watched the first 5 minutes, and then I was expecting Nat later that night. Did you tell me, Nat, or did I figure it out on my own? I think you told me.
I told you, but
Yeah.
you're like, I think you kind of knew something was up when it wasn't the Rock
and-
Triple H match.
Yeah, I said to you, I'm like, for some reason I thought Triple H and The Rock were in the main event, and he goes, they were. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you watching the pilot? I'm like, oh fuck, it's a pilot. So
To be
yeah, that's
fair,
my fault.
the pilot episode has like a lot of important stuff happen on it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's easy to get tricked by it.
Yeah, because I said to Nat, I'm like, the stage ramp is like just normal Raw, and the ropes are red. I was like, this is fucking weird. I thought first episode of SmackDown they go all out and like change everything, but yeah. Anyway,
Do they have like an intro for the show? Like, do they just play the Raw intro? Or do they have a SmackDown intro? What's the go there? Because I haven't seen it.
I'm pretty sure it's the SmackDown intro that they show on the first episode.
Oh, really? That's so weird. That's like the one thing that's different about the show then.
Yeah, it's strange.
So this pilot episode aired on Thursday, April 29, 1999. Was taped 2 days prior on the 27th in New Haven, Connecticut at the New Haven Coliseum. The match card for that night was the Blue Blazer defeating Val Venus, the Big Show defeating Test, D'Lo Brown defeating Droz, X-Pac and Kane defeating the New Age Outlaws to retain the World Tag Team Championship, Ken Shamrock defeating Bradshaw in a no-holds-barred street fight, Mankind defeating Big Boss Man, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock defeating the Corporate Ministry. This is actually the episode where the Corporate Ministry is formed, so it's easy to mistake it for like a proper SmackDown episode when something kind of important like that happens. So I can understand your confusion, Pricey.
Thank you. I scrolled down to the first episode in 1999 on the network, and I assumed that was it.
They tricked you. It shouldn't be in there. It should be in a separate area.
Well, you're 4 months apart, so you're close.
4 months early.
Yeah, I showed up early to the show.
So I just wanted to note here, Owen Hart would tragically die soon after this event. And I just thought it's kind of weird to think that his death and the debut of SmackDown are so close together. Like, I usually think of those two events being in different time periods. And technically he did appear on SmackDown as the Blue Blazer. I feel like Owen's death, I associate that with being like way earlier before SmackDown was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, but I guess because he passed before I started watching wrestling, I'm the same. I don't really think of Owen as a SmackDown wrestler at all. So that's a good point.
Do you think the creation of SmackDown directly led to the death of Owen Hart?
Jesus.
Interesting question.
I had to just lighten the mood, you know.
Oh, you did that.
Oh, that joke fell flatter than Owen Hart had. What pay-per-view did he die? Over the Edge?
Over the edge. He fell over the edge.
There's going to be plenty of death talk coming up, so...
Oh, I forgot we did that segment.
You know, Owen Hart's wife needs to get fucking over herself.
I know, she needs to get over it. It happened like 20 years ago.
Was this why? What's this happened? What happened? Do I know?
I know,
not know
Owen
something,
Hart's
or-
wife just completely blames the WWF, and that's... People, every year when the Hall of Fame comes up, they beg the WWE, they badmouth them because Owen Hart isn't in the Hall of Fame yet. But the fact is, Owen Hart's wife doesn't let them put him in, so...
Really?
Yeah, she completely doesn't let them, so... It's her fault. Take it up with old mate, bloody... I'm going to say Wendy Hart. Take it up with her.
Close enough. Yeah, man, she has to freak off. I didn't know that. We all want him in the Hall of Fame.
I know, like, that was such an emotional moment. She's denying us that closure of his career.
We will ban you from the Summerfest.
So aside from the SmackDown name and the show being aired on UPN, this was essentially just another episode of Monday Night Raw, which is probably why not a lot of people remember this as a SmackDown pilot episode. As Pricey mentioned earlier, the ropes were still red and the set was exactly the same as Raw. In the June 7th Observer, Meltzer reports that the new SmackDown show on UPN is expected to be a much more toned-down version of Raw, which is basically disproven on the first episode based on one of the old pervert matches that they have on the card. There was some sticky TV sets in 1999. So in the June 14th Wrestling Observer, Meltzer reports on the new WWF schedule as a result of SmackDown coming in. The new WWF schedule will have 4 shows per week, Saturday through Tuesday. One Sunday a month will be pay-per-views, and the others will be house shows. Monday will be a live Raw, and Tuesdays will be SmackDown tapings. Sunday Night Heat is going to be changed and be taped the week before it airs, or potentially is going to become a recap show.
You're fucking wrong.
So in the July 5th Observer, we get some info on the commentary team for SmackDown. Meltzer reports that Kevin Kelly and Michael Cole will be the announcers for the new SmackDown show starting next month, which pretty much guarantees that it will be the B show. But this would actually never happen. The debut episode features JR and King, which is naturally they're making it a big event, have the main announcers on it. But in subsequent episodes, they trade out JR for Michael Cole, and King's there some weeks, even Michael Hayes is there some weeks, but Kevin Kelly never appears. And this majorly upsets Kevin Kelly, and he has gone on record as saying that him being snubbed for the SmackDown role is kind of what made him fed up with the company and made him want to depart. So I feel like that would upset you, Price. You're a big Kevin Kelly mark.
I like Kevin Kelly, but did you mention at all in the pilot episode who the commentary team was?
I didn't. I'm not even sure who the commentary team is.
From memory, I'm gonna go back and look at it, so don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure it's Michael Cole and Jim Cornette.
Oh, I think now that you mention that, Jim Cornette. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Which, so I'm writing my notes while I'm watching the first 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, and that's going to do his Jim Cornette impression this week. It's going to be really good. And they don't get that.
I think it's crazy that they picked literally everybody except Kevin Kelly to do commentary on SmackDown. Like, Kevin Kelly had been there for a while, doing like backstage like interviews and stuff, kind of doing what Michael Cole had been doing, and they just completely ignore him.
I would too.
Wow, Kevin Kelly is at least top 5 announcers in the world right now.
I listen to my New Japan Pro Wrestling and Japanese commentary now.
Oh yes, because you're learning Japanese.
Konnichiwa.
Arigato.
Ohayo. Hi.
Asuka.
Kenny Omega-san.
Oh, I used to watch New Japan in Japanese. When I started watching it, like, they didn't have English commentary like for hardly anything, so I was watching in Japanese, and I've learned nothing at all.
Haven't listened to this guy, Brody.
It was just white noise. It's like
I listened to it before it was cool.
I watched I'm pretty sure I watched Kenny Omega's match with Okada, the first one that broke the Meltzer scale in Japanese. I'm like, I don't understand any of this, but it sounds pretty hype. They could have been saying anything. So this now brings us to August of 1999, where things are kind of ramping up for the debut of SmackDown. And this is kind of what was going on in the world of the WWF leading up to the first ever episode for the Blue Brand. In the August 2nd Wrestling Observer newsletter, we get a little bit of news on Kurt Angle, who has won the Power Pro Wrestling World title in Memphis. Apparently the crowds have been pretty lukewarm on Angle's 70s style babyface character, but they popped big for the title change. We also have Chris Jericho about to make his way to the WWF. He had his last match, which took place at a house show in Peoria, Illinois. Jericho teamed with Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio against Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman. And before the match, he said if he would leave the WCW if he got pinned, and of course he did. After the match, all 4 hugged in the ring, and Jericho was near tears. Chris Jericho also did a radio interview where he was kind of asked about how he was going to be brought into the company, and he denied that he would join DX or be revealed as the person behind GTV. But he wouldn't deny that he was going to be the Millennium Man, and Dave says that's because the countdown is indeed for Jericho, and it does turn out to be Jericho. We then go to the August 9th Wrestling Observer newsletter. We have some news about the WWF cancelling its Super Astros show. Do any of you know about this show?
Yes. Bruce Pritchard.
You actually know about it?
Bruce Pritchard.
Really? I was surprised that you didn't know about it, because I had no idea about it until I was just doing some research about the this time period. For those of you that don't know, it was kind of like a lucha libre show that they were doing. And apparently they closed it down mostly due to the addition of SmackDown, but also because Super Astros was losing the money. Apparently, Univision, the company showing it, was giving the WWF $17,000 per week for the tapings, which didn't even cover all the talent they were paying. So it kind of made sense to just cut it loose when it was really the most minor show that they've ever produced. Maybe Saturday Morning Slam was more minor than it, but you'd be hard find to see a show that meant less for the WWF. More talent signing news. The WWF is working to bring in the Dudley Boys and Stevie Richards at this time. No contracts are signed yet, but reportedly the Dudleys have a deal with Jim Ross. There's also some little bit of rating news here. Raw is doing double the ratings of Nitro at the time, which isn't too surprising. But not only is Raw crushing Nitro, Sunday Night Heat is also routinely beating Nitro by a full point or more every week. That's how bad it's gotten for WCW at this point. In fact, the lowest rated segment of Nitro the week of this Observer report did a 1.98 rating, which apparently was in the range that Saturday morning WF Livewire would do. Did you guys realize how big of a deal Sunday Night Heat was at one point?
I definitely didn't, because when I started watching, they sort of sporadically spoke about it, and I don't think we got it here, so whenever I heard of it, I just assumed it was just like a pre-show to the pay-per-views on Sundays. I had no idea about it.
That's where the hardcore division and the European title division were thriving.
Yeah, it's like, I remember it as being like the show where Charlie Haas would wrestle and Todd Grisham would commentate his matches. But yeah, like, it was like a big show. I'm seeing here the highest rated episode of Sunday Night Heat did a 6.6, which that's double what Raw does. That's incredible.
That's bloody good effort.
But yeah, like, apparently, like, Sunday Night Heat used to actually like further storylines and stuff. So especially when the business is that hot, it's not too surprising to see that another WWF show that's actually being treated seriously is doing big numbers. I was just blown away that it was beating Nitro. Like, I didn't think it was that bad in 1999 for Nitro yet.
I guess it makes sense, this being the hottest period of wrestling, that fans would just want to watch. And it's in an age when there was no social media, so you can't access wrestling as easily as you can now. So I guess people were just trying to watch as much as they can. That must have been the benefit of it.
They were also doing the halftime heat thing during the Super Bowl. Do you guys remember this?
Yes.
Vaguely.
Yeah, like
the empty arena match.
Yeah, so yeah, they did that because halftime of the Super Bowl, people would just chuck on random things to try and get people to switch over for that moment. And yeah, Heat would do that every year that it was on, and it would rate like extremely well. So shout out to whoever came up with that idea. So at this time, Big Show is being put with The Undertaker as a tag team because they're hoping he learns something. Reportedly, they think he kind of sucks and that they're hoping Taker's dedication and work ethic will rub off on him. They also want him to lose some weight because he's at 440 pounds at the moment. So then Chris Jericho makes his WWF debut on the August 9th Monday Night Raw. And in the final Wrestling Observer before SmackDown's debut, it's reported that UPN is spending 40% of its total promotional budget to promote SmackDown. Dave says UPN is a struggling network and they're pretty much putting all their eggs in the WWF basket and counting on SmackDown to save the network from dying. So it's pretty good bet to make at that time, and having a WWF show to help save your ratings. This takes us to the actual show itself, and everyone's favourite segment this week, the number of dead people on the show is 5, which I think is the highest we've ever had.
Yeah, it is.
Do It's going to be hard this week because a lot of them aren't in matches, so you might not be able to get them all.
Well, Test, definitely.
Correct.
Boss Man.
Correct.
Jeez.
It's real tough because a lot of them don't appear in matches. So,
How'd Shane go after that helicopter incident? Is he still going?
man, some would controversially say that he should have died in that helicopter crash.
Pepper.
I didn't count Pepper, but you could throw that in as a sixth.
I'm thinking of like the backstage guys. Like, is Finkel's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah, Fink's still alive.
Yeah, for sure. Like Pat Patterson's still alive, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. I actually didn't check to see if he was still alive, so that's lucky.
This is tough. I have no idea.
So I'll go through it. There's Test, China,
I've got China.
Paul Bearer.
Shit.
So.
Big Boss Man, and who was the last one? Oh no, I've lost my last one.
Is it Mainstream Posse?
No, they're all still alive. I had to check all those. Maybe I've messed up.
Is Tori still alive?
Tori is still alive. No, I've lost it.
Jeez.
I've completely lost it. I swear there was a fifth though.
The fans are devastated.
I don't believe you.
Maybe
Let's just say it was
counting
Pepper. Let's just say it was Pepper.
And Pepper. So the show kicks off with a recap video showing Triple H beating The Rock to win the WWF Championship on Raw. We then get the iconic SmackDown intro, probably one of the most iconic intros they've had in their history. I wanted to ask you boys what your favourite SmackDown intro was, though.
Well, if you want to see that classic SmackDown intro, you can check us out on the Wrestle Hunks Pod Instagram account.
Yeah, head over to the Wrestle Hunks Instagram. Check out the great content.
I might post the finish of the main event there.
Ooh. Tease?
It's such tease.
Tease.
But yeah, what are your favourite intros?
Mine's Rise Up?
Yes, fuck, you
That's a
took mine.
banger.
05? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that one. I don't know why. That's like prime me watching wrestling. 2005.
What about you, Nat?
Fuck, well, he took mine, but fuck, they've had a lot in the recent years. There's Know Your Enemy by Green Day. They had that
Surely
one.
that was your favourite. You're a Green Day mark.
No, I was gonna say Rise Up. You're a dog for taking it.
You can say it as well. There's no rules against it. I'm not going to come over and beat you.
I'm stumped. Can't think of anyone else.
The one in 03, I don't know what the song is, but that's good.
03. Do you mean you didn't play Here Comes the Pain, did you?
Not a lot.
Because I think if you're talking about the same one I'm thinking of, it's probably that one. It's in Here Comes the Pain.
Beautiful People was also a theme.
Oh, the Marilyn Manson one. That's actually a bit of a banger.
Yeah, I didn't mind that.
Low-key banger. I was enjoying it during the episodes in the Nathan Jones episode we did last week.
It's not bad. Not bad.
I'm going to throw out when they used the Fall Out Boy song.
This is Aussie Four.
You're right there watching the KFC ad?
Nah, it's for something.
Yeah, but they used a Fall Out Boy song for one of their anniversaries recently. They used it for one night, so I think that's my favourite intro.
Oh, nice. I don't recall that at all, but yeah, that's good.
Right,
Wait, here we go. This one?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, that
03
banger.
one.
That's a banger. Yeah, that is a banger.
So the debut episode of SmackDown kicks off with Triple H and Chyna heading to the ring, and it's nice to know that SmackDown debuts with a Triple H promo to kick things off. You know, got to have the status quo. Triple H cutting up a lengthy promo.
Still happens today.
In 2018, still happening. So Triple H here is wearing jeans with no shirt like a complete pervert, and The Rock is shown to be watching backstage. Triple H gets on the mic and says that he's the best and that he can defeat anyone, which leads The Rock to come out to the ring. The Rock proposes a championship match for tonight, but Triple H refuses. Shawn Michaels' music then hits, and he looks haggard as fuck, but I feel like you'd agree, he somehow still looks better here than he does in 2018.
He has hair.
This is like peak like Shawn Michaels drug addict era, and he still looks better than Shawn Michaels in 2018.
He's just getting old. Yeah.
He doesn't have to wear a silly cowboy hat.
He does wear a good pair of shorts, though.
Yeah, I do mention that in the main event. I don't know what's going through his mind with his attire choices in this time.
It'd be crazy not to mention him.
I just assume he's coked out of his mind, so he doesn't realise what he's wearing.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
So apparently he's the commissioner currently, and then he books the championship match and names himself the guest referee. Shane McMahon then comes out of nowhere. I have no idea where he came from, presumably somewhere from the crowd, and he appoints himself as also a referee for the match. HBK then tells Shane that he's not going to be able to be the referee because he's going to have to wrestle Mankind. Mankind then comes out and he and The Rock attack Shane and Triple H. Then the fucking Mean Street Posse try to help out, but they just get the shit kicked out of them. What were your thoughts on this opening segment / promo?
It went for like 20 minutes.
Oh god, it was so long.
It was boring.
One thing I thought is just at this point in time how over The Rock was. The crowd was like hanging on every single word he said, chanting along. We don't really get that a lot these days.
Yeah, like The Rock has like
catchphrases.
Rock has like 10 different catchphrases here.
Yeah.
Which is absurd to think about. Like, Daniel Bryan got like yes over big time, and like Elias will get like walk with Elias and shit like over, but nobody gets multiple catchphrases over, and The Rock here has just like a dozen.
I think apart from like Jericho in his like most recent WWE run, you don't see that, and he could just spend the whole promo just rattling off different catchphrases that he's got. And the crowd loves it.
Actually, I feel like Jericho is the only person even remotely in like the same ballpark as The Rock in terms of like that kind of catchphrasing.
100%.
You can't see me.
Let's forget that ever happened from The Rock. But yeah, I thought this segment was like way overbooked. You have Triple H and China coming out, then The Rock comes out, then Shawn Michaels comes out, then Shane McMahon comes out, and then Mankind comes out, and then the Mean Street Posse. Like, that's almost an entire wrestling roster right there.
I think they're trying to make it...
Trying to make it what?
Yeah.
I think they're trying to make it more like, kind of like it's relevant, like it's not the B show. That's why they're going balls to the wall.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what they're trying to do here, but it doesn't really make for a very enjoyable kind of segment, I guess. How long did it take you guys to notice that hard cam was on the opposite side?
When China came out.
Really? Because like
in the Jarrett match.
Oh yeah, it took. I actually didn't realize until the Big Show and Undertaker match. It took me ages to realize that it was set up kind of like NXT instead of the normal Raw camera placement.
Yeah, I didn't. If you hadn't said that, I wouldn't have taken much notice, to be honest.
Did they film like most of the early SmackDowns like that?
No idea.
Because like. I guess it could have been a way to differentiate it from Raw, but I don't remember him using different hard cam placement.
One thing I wanted to ask is this Triple H's first title win?
I believe so. The way they're acting, I'm pretty sure it's Triple H's first championship win.
I didn't think it would be on Raw, his first title win for some reason.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
There you go.
Another little thing I wanted to note here. I feel like Shawn Michaels' career has a lot of similarities with Daniel Bryan. Like, they have a main event career, then they get an injury in their prime, then they're made to be an authority figure, and then they eventually come back. Like, just thought that was a neat little coincidence there.
Well, actually, Shawn Michaels is doing it a third time.
Yeah, I hope Daniel Bryan, when he's 1,000,000 years old, doesn't have to come out of retirement for that Saudi blood money.
I had no idea where you were going with that when you said Michaels and Daniel Bryan being compared, especially at this point with Michaels in the state he's in. I was like, Daniel Bryan probably doesn't go that hard.
Daniel Bryan doing that vegan cocaine.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing, to be honest.
Do we have any last thoughts on the promo?
You mentioned Rock watching from the back. It's just, they've come a long way from watching the TV from an awkward angle on like a little box TV to now watching it at an awkward angle on the big flat screen.
You really appreciate the advancements in technology there.
They probably see it a little bit better nowadays on the awkward angle because it's a bigger.
Yeah, The
bigger
Rock
TV
was
and-
like right up to the screen. I'm assuming he was having to like squint to make out what was happening there.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Now you can just stand right back, you big old 45-inch bloody screen.
You just take it in.
Yeah, I just wanted to finish it off with saying I still can't believe they named an entire show after one of the Rock's catchphrases. That just shows how over he is.
It does.
Well, what were they going to call it? You have Monday Night Raw. What do they call it? Bloody condom
Well,
protection.
I mean, WCW just busted out the Thunder name, and at this time, WF had Heat, they had Jacked, they had Metal. So, they could have come up with something generic like that. Maybe tinfoil.
Maybe Desert Heat.
Yeah, every week they do the show from a desert.
Viva Las Divas.
So our first ever match on SmackDown is contested between Billy Gunn and Jeff Jarrett. Billy Gunn gets the win here via pinfall in 2 minutes and 54 seconds.
That was the worst. Did you see that? What a low blow by Turner.
I just want to say here, wow, Jeff Jarrett is still in the WWF at this point.
Don't piss me off.
That's impressive. I thought he would be over main eventing terrible WCW pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Jeff Jarrett's career, so I don't know.
Slapnuts.
Oh, the King of the Mountain.
You're talking about that JEFF JARRETT?
I am.
No, I'm talking about the ROADDOGG.
Nice.
So, as for the match itself, Chyna comes to the ring in the middle of the match, and Miss Kitty and Deborah with Jeff Jarrett, and Chyna stops Miss Kitty from giving Jeff Jarrett his guitar, and instead she takes it off her and hits Deborah with it. This allows Billy Gunn to get a roll-up, and then after he gets the win, she low blows Mr. Ass. So what did you think of this match? It's not much to talk about. It doesn't even go 3 minutes, but yeah, what do we think of it?
Much like most of the matches in this show, pretty short. But I mean, they just crammed some stuff in there, and I didn't hate it. I thought it was a nice little opener.
It was okay. I'm gonna post the finish on the Instagram during the week because the guitar shot is god awful.
Yeah, it's not great.
I thought she hit both of them, to be honest.
Just 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah.
This is during Jeff Jarrett's period where he would just abuse women and everyone was cool with it.
Everyone was abusing women at this point on Raw and SmackDown. Like, when the Dudleys come in and Bubba Ray's gimmick is like he really just wants to powerbomb women through tables. Like, sure, let's make that the gimmick.
I have here that I needed a counter for how many times King says puppies. And it's only like the first match of the night. He wouldn't stop.
He gets a lot of opportunities for it, especially because there's a dog involved in one of the matches, so he gets even more chances to say puppies.
Yeah, he can't help himself.
Did either of you notice that when they showed the recap of what Billy Gunn and Jeff Jarrett did on Raw, Billy Gunn was wearing a choker?
I did.
Like, what's the go there? That's some cute Kip stuff, not Billy Gunn.
He was ahead of the times.
He knew where the business was heading, and it was all about wearing chokers as a man. Also, Jeff Jarrett is a very oily man, so just wanted to point that out.
At this point, throughout the show, like DX are pretty prominent, but I have no idea if they're together or not at this point.
I mentioned that in the X-Pac match next. Yeah,
they're together, confused. But they're not with each other. They're all singles, really.
Nice.
Going their own way.
You know, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I think if you go on the DX wiki page, I think Kane's listed under it.
Really?
Oh, he's my favourite member.
Him and Tori.
Wait, so he's going to turn on the Undertaker in Saudi Arabia? Is that what you're saying?
I hope so.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. There was a rumor Bruce Pritchard squatched that everyone would say they had a DX styled Kane outfit planned.
That would be lit.
but no, it
I
wasn't
would
true.
support that. So overall, yeah, this match is just all right. It's basically your typical Raw or SmackDown match at this period. You know, a bunch of fucking run-ins and crazy shit like that. And it gets the fans popping, but it's not really too great from an in-ring standpoint.
Bro, it's Car Crash TV. Bro.
After this, Al Snow is interviewed by Lillian Garcia. Currently, the Big Boss Man has Al Snow's dog, and he's real upset and real sad. I'll actually get to that quote a little bit later now. Just holding off, you know. Great minds think alike.
Just
when
this happened, I was just like, what the fuck storyline is happening? Just watching that backstage interview, I had no idea what the fuck was happening.
Al Snow's really selling it as well. He's real sad.
Oh, yeah, I felt bad for him.
He's real sad while wearing a Job Squad t-shirt and having shit written on his head.
I love head.
So I'm trying to keep it cool, and that's just absolutely terrorizing the Google Doc here.
Can I read that out? Roddy Piper ate a pickled pepper.
Surely someone in this feud says that. If Roddy Piper wasn't with WCW at that point, they could have got him to be the one to eat pepper.
Oh, God.
So after that promo, we cut to Howard Finkel polishing Chris Jericho's shoes. And later in the night, you kind of, if you haven't been watching recent weeks, you kind of understand why Howard Finkel's doing this. But at the time, I was extremely confused why this was a thing.
Pretty sure he's in like 6 segments.
He's in a lot of segments, but like at the time, I was like, why is Howard Finkel polishing Jericho's shoes? What is this got to do with anything? So, yeah,
thought it was just Jericho being a dick.
That's what I chalked it down to at first.
Thought it was like his heel character. It's just I'm going to make people shine my boots.
Rufus, what's his name? Ralphus 2.0.
Yeah, skinny Ralphus.
The ultimate Finkel.
So after the commercial break, we see Test pacing back and forth, anxious to hear Stephanie McMahon's response to his marriage proposal from Raw. I just had a little note here. There's so many iconic storylines happening at this very moment. Jericho's just debuted. Test's proposed to Stephanie McMahon. We've got the Kennel From Hell match being built up here. It's like, I didn't realise so many iconic moments were all happening right around the time SmackDown first came on the air.
When they mentioned Steph was gonna made Test wait to get the marriage proposal answer, I just thought, is Test gonna call Stephanie a tease? I was thinking the whole time.
She says no, and you're such a tease.
2003 Test would have proposed, and Stephanie would have said she needs more time to think about it, and then Test would have gone, "Come on, Stephanie, you're such a tease. I've seen your photos in Playboy."
That's what we can all hope for.
Oh wow, it's impressive how Test just keeps cropping up in every show we do, basically.
Hey, he's over in this show. They love him.
They kind of do. Long hair Test was my jam.
Do you like how he was wearing his attire as his pants?
Was he really? I didn't notice that.
He's wearing his vinyl pants.
He's always ready to wrestle.
Fucking goober.
He looks so much healthier here, don't you think?
He doesn't look like a walking heart attack here, which is impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not dead here, so...
Yeah, that's a fair point.
He's alive and kicking. Looking the most alive he's probably looked in his life.
Yeah. Yeah, fair point.
So, we next have the Big Show and the Undertaker defeating Kane and X-Pac and Bradshaw and Farouk via pinfall to retain the WWF Tag Team Championships in 3 minutes and 47 seconds.
It's a case of what you might call hard love, but this is the way I teach. So what you have the benefit of is my color commentary.
Well, you're making the Big Show go it alone in a triple threat.
Big Show wants something. He wants the knowledge that I possess. But if he wants it, he's got to earn it. And that display at SummerSlam just ain't going to cut it.
This kind of goes to what we were talking about before, about whether DX is still together. But I said shout out to X-Pac still using the DX theme. Because I was assuming DX weren't together, but they may have been. But yeah, he keeps using like a DX theme for a while after they break up. And just wanted to mention that Roman Reigns is the modern day X-Pac, so that's kind of embarrassing for Roman.
Yeah, the worst member of the group.
I was more mentioning because X-Pac kept wearing
X-Pac heat.
X-Pac kept wearing... He does have X-Pac heat, but X-Pac kept wearing his DX gear and using a DX theme for like months and months after DX broke up. And Roman Reigns did the same thing once the Shield broke up. Seth and Dean got new attires, but Roman kept wearing Shield attire and he kept using the Shield theme. So it's like Roman Reigns and X-Pac, basically the same person.
DX, dude! Also, I didn't know, like, the entrance they had, they, like, mashed it up, like the Kane and DX.
They did. I have that on video.
Pretty cool, to be honest.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty cool entrance. I did like that.
What's the deal with DX just spitting liquid?
Yeah, they got a real obsession with that. I don't know why.
And it makes it worse that X-Pac is spitting out the that drink, but that's gonna be Sticky Boy on the ground.
Oh, you know what? X-Pac definitely drinks energy drinks. Do you boys drink energy drinks?
I drink a lot of energy drinks.
That's why he's awake right now.
If shout out to Marcus Brunaris. Marcus Brunaris would have X-Pac would have been his favorite wrestler because of all the energy drinks he drinks.
How much was this energy? Like, how much was that company paying? Because at the start of the show, they get a plug.
Yeah, they sponsor the show, actually, yeah.
They get plugs in the logos everywhere. Howard Finkel, buddy, uses it at one stage. And buddy X-Pac is using it, and then someone else has it.
Yeah, they go all in on it. I wish when they had the Mountain Dew Kickstart sponsorship, they went all in on the Mountain Dew Kickstart, you know?
Also, he kept it in his... X-Pac kept his in his attire, and he pulled one out.
Well, that's nasty.
Yeah. Like, fuck. Dedication.
There was one on the commentary table in front of King.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
So as for the match itself, Undertaker joins commentary for some reason, and his commentary really sucks. And then for the finish, Big Show just chokeslams the hell out of X-Pac while everybody else fights outside of the ring, allowing him to get the win. What did we think of this WF Tag Team Championship match?
That ref needs to be fired. There was no rules enforced in this match whatsoever.
Oh,
at one point,
I think it was actually a triple threat tag match.
Yeah,
was it really?
No,
I think it was.
No, it was, but even then, like they said, like one person from each team is legal at all times. But then everyone was just in the ring towards the end, and then X-Pac tagged in at the end. There was no point to that. Like everyone was in the ring anyway, man. Why did you tag in? No one else did. It was just it was so weird.
Yeah, that's what I have here. My main note about the actual match itself. It's just a complete clusterfuck. Like everybody just, there's no point even having the tag rules. You might as well just made it tornado tag because everybody's just fighting in the ring.
Yeah.
I just have no one gave a fuck about the pre-APA acolytes.
Oh, they're dog shit. They got some weird fucking symbols on them. Like
no one gave a fuck. Also, I deleted you saying Undertaker was in this match because he wasn't.
I mean, at one point he gets up and
what you were doing.
He like headbutts the Big Show and asks him if he wants the knowledge.
Nah, he punches him.
It's like, do you want the knowledge?
Yes.
This whole storyline is dumb as fuck.
WrestleMania, baby. Woo!
Like his commentary, he just keeps mentioning about how Big Show wants to get the knowledge. I'm like, are they playing a rib on Undertaker, making him say this all the time? What's the go here?
What's with us covering like certain things where the Undertaker's just in like dog shit character?
Yeah,
is that our fault?
We've covered a lot of events where Undertaker is, not having his finest hour. Hell in a Cell was terrible. Then Nathan Jones' career wasn't great. Now this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm having a hard time remembering what Undertaker was good at after all this shit.
He's overrated.
There was a very specific 2 WrestleManias where he was good.
I'll never forget those.
Surely you guys agree with me. Big Show looks like a big fat baby in a diaper in this attire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a like shitty haircut to go with his shitty pair of tights.
It's disgusting.
But I had here the crowd was pretty hot for Kane, unless I was piped in.
Yeah, they loved Kane.
No, I don't reckon they would have been piping in stuff on SmackDown at this point because WF was hot as fuck. So
I don't think so either. But
Nah, they loved Kane.
the crowd was hot for him. They by far the most over in this match.
Hey, dude, if Kane's got something to say, he's got 2 words for you.
Suck it.
I always appreciate that they made Kane sound like E.T. He also speaks in this episode a little later on. Is that supposed to be a big deal, or?
I thought I wrote something down for that, but
Wait, where was that? I missed
When
that.
X-Pac is walking off backstage, Kane yells out something, and they kind of just gloss over it. King kind of goes, like, he's like, was that Kane? But then they just kind of move on to the next segment.
because X-Pac, because after they lose, he's like, "Oh, I'm the weak link" or something as he's walking out of the arena, and Kane goes to chase him. I thought, yeah, because he said something, and I was going to make a comment about what Nat just did, the voice thing.
Come back.
Yeah, but I couldn't really make out what he said.
But yeah, this match is not great. I'd probably call it terrible, to be honest. At least the first match was kind of entertaining, but this is just all over the place. The acolytes suck, and Undertaker's just all about the knowledge. That's what this match is really about. It's about the knowledge, not about the championships. Do you guys have any last words on this terrible match?
No. I don't think so. No.
So after this, we cut back to Test, who is still dead and is still pacing. Steph shows up and she basically just brushes him off. She's been a real tease on this episode.
He looks so in love in this little bit here.
I know, he's I really appreciate it. I want to know, do either of you know why Shane McMahon is so against Test being with Stephanie?
Because he's a dick.
He's a heel.
Did they have a match at SummerSlam together?
The love her or leave her match at SummerSlam.
That's
Test
why.
wins.
They hate each other.
Apparently, I think that's Shane's first match as well. From the way they talk about it on commentary, I think it's his first match.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But yeah, that match doesn't really make any sense. The love her or leave her match, and Test wins, and it doesn't change anything. Shane McMahon's still just being a dick. That leads us to the next match on the card. It's Big Boss Man defeating Al Snow via pinfall to win the WWF Hardcore Championship in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. But before that, we get a kind of lengthy promo. Big Boss Man comes out to the ring and cuts a promo purely to tell Al Snow to get out there. Al Snow just wants his dog, and Big Boss Man, he wants a Hardcore Championship match in exchange for the dog. This storyline is so fucking dumb. Like, did Big Boss Man, why did he kidnap this dog?
I agree. Pepper didn't deserve it, man. What did he do?
Like, surely he could leverage, like, kidnapping a dog for something better. He wants a Hardcore Championship match. You don't need to ask for that. You can just go pin him at any time. It's 24/7. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what? All I've gotten written here is that how bad are the ladder spots?
I'm going to get into that in a second about the actual match. So after a commercial break, Al Snow is in the ring, and Big Boss Man brings out a tiny ass dog to the ring, and he gives it to King on commentary.
Just tell me where Pepper is. Is he all right, please? You don't need to worry about that damn dog. You understand me? That dog's safe. He's safe for now. But anything can happen. Everybody knows I'm not a patient man.
So that leads us to the actual match, and I just wrote here, this entire match could probably be played on Botchamania. It is so bad.
Yeah.
Like what you mentioned about the ladder spots, Nat.
It's shit.
How's the spot where Big Boss Man, like, uses it on Al Snow, but then he hits himself in the head with it? Like, and then he sells it, well, which is good on him. He doesn't, like, no-sell a ladder,
But that happens
so
like
dumb.
3 times in a row.
The one where, like, El Snow's on the top rope and he has the ladder, I thought he was going to fucking kill himself when he fell back and, like, the ladder started to go out the ring. If Bossman hadn't, like, grabbed it, I thought, like, the ladder's just going to land on him as well.
Like, they have all those weapons, and that's the one they settled on.
Hey, there's a cookie tray used, to be fair.
Also, this did not feel like 2 minutes 20. It felt like 10 minutes. That's shit.
Because it joins in with the promo, which takes a while. They cut to commercial, and Al Snow and Big Boss Man have switched places in the arena, which is impressive.
Yeah, because he told Al Snow to get his Hardcore Championship.
Yeah, overall, like, this match sucks, and it kind of mirrors the quality of the feud. This whole storyline is just really uncomfortable. How terrified did that dog look being in front of that arena full of people?
Can I just say that the muzzle it had on it, it looked like was it like made out of Velcro?
I think so. It was clearly not a proper one. Like when it came out, I'm like, what's wrong with this dog's face?
I thought it was so cute. Come on, that was pretty funny.
I just felt sorry for it. It was like terrified.
Oh, I need a napkin over here.
When King was making like jokes about like it peeing on his desk, like when it cuts to him, he clearly didn't pee on him. But I was like, I would believed it because like the dog is literally shitting itself.
Yeah, that's true.
I need a Kleenex over here.
Apart from, I've just got a couple notes. I want head, and I just said, "Don't take Pepper, you son of a bitch." That's about it. That's my thoughts on this one.
Did you catch the JR and King back and forth of JR says, I thought you liked puppies. And King says, I like the ones with 2 legs.
Yeah, I did catch that. That was pretty funny. That was probably the highlight of this whole segment. All I know is, what about my dog, Matt? What about my dog, Jack?
Jack.
Oh, that's all I could think about. You can't have dogs involved in storylines without me thinking about the classic Hardy Brothers feud.
What was Tori Wilson's dog, Pricey?
Oh shit! I was literally.
Was it
thinking
Chloe?
about that just then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
For some reason, I thought it was called Tofu.
That would have been a better name. So Big Boss Man wins the hardcore title after he hits Al Snow with the nightstick. And then he's a complete heel here because instead of giving the dog back to Al Snow like he said he would, he just steals it again. So nothing was achieved there. That's true heel work there.
What a heartless bastard.
We mentioned this segment a bit earlier. We move on to seeing X-Pac and Kane kind of arguing sort of backstage. And Kane speaks, but I really didn't make out what he said, and they brushed over it. We then see Al Snow running around backstage to find his dog, and after the commercial, we again see Al Snow just opening random doors backstage. So this leads us to Chris Jericho's debut in the WWF. We have Road Dogg defeating Jericho via DQ in 4 minutes and 31.
Jericho, waistlock. What do you think? Powerbomb. Oh, a double powerbomb. Oh, God! Right on the table.
Did either of you realize that Jericho debuted on SmackDown?
Yes, because I watched it before.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea.
You smarty pants, you really are the IMDb. But yeah, I don't know. It's like all these things. I don't associate Jericho debuting with like SmackDown being on the air. But before the match, we get Road Dogg cutting his usual promo, and he's wearing full DX gear. X-Pac wasn't wearing like DX inspired gear, but Road Dogg is, and I just had to hear. I'm really confused as to whether DX are still together in some form here. And
well, I mean, he wears that, and then X-Pac did the fireworks.
But like, even a year from now, X-Pac is still doing DX stuff, so like, that's just his gimmick. That's his life.
Yeah. I don't know. The D-O double G.
I have
And
here.
he says a lot of other things.
I think he's pretty good on the mic, to be honest. But I have here. Do you guys think I should copy Road Dogg's haircut?
Oh, please get the old cornrows.
It's not
Please
far
do
off.
it.
I mean, if I just scrolled out a little bit longer, I could do that. It's pretty much my haircut.
It is, yeah.
So, I mean...
Nothing better than a white boy rocking some cornrows.
Hey?
Just white boys wearing cornrows. That's like a mid-2000s special. Being
I'm
inspired
gonna
by
bring it back.
Alan Iverson.
Oh, for sure.
I went to primary school with a kid who got his hair done in cornrows. So...
I'm kind of jealous.
He was the guy who introduced me to the NBA, though, so...
Oh, so we should be thanking him.
Yeah, we should be thanking him. He's not all bad. But as I mentioned, this is Chris Jericho's WWF in-ring debut. And in the middle of this match, Howard Finkel kind of offers Jericho some energy drink, kind of pep him up, you know? But instead, he throws it in Road Dogg's face, and I'm not exactly sure why this isn't a DQ. But eventually, Jericho will get a table out and set it up in the ring, and Road Dogg gets a powerbomb through it, which results in Jericho being DQ'd. He then locks in a Lion Tamer to add insult to injury. What do we think of currently the longest match on the card?
I didn't think putting someone through a table is a disqualification.
It's usually not. Like, if you take someone through the announce table, you never get disqualified.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't be a disqualification because you're not hitting them with anything.
Why the fuck did he put a table in the ring?
Who knows? Because it looked good, man. I just don't understand. He gets disqualified for that, but Howard Finkel blinding Road Dogg with that energy drink it gets ignored.
In the late 90s, early 2000s, you can throw things at people and it's okay.
Tim White was the referee, though, so, like, maybe he was just having some bad thoughts that day. Oh, boy.
We'll get to that at some point.
I don't know what you think about Road Dogg in general, but I think he sucks. Like, I think he's dog shit in the ring. Not a fan at all.
I like him.
I don't care for his in-ring work, but I thought he was entertaining.
He's smooth on the microphone. Just as soon as the bell rings, it sucks and I want to go to sleep.
Well, in the Outlaws, when they were a team, he would be the guy who gets fucked up in the ring, takes all the bumps.
Because he sucks.
And then tag in Billy Gunn for the hot tag.
You know, Bill Gunn is a big hoss. That's why.
Bill Gunn has a big hog, probably, too.
Probably.
I just wanted to point out here, the WWE kind of always make it out as if Jericho was like straight away a main eventer when he debuted because of the way he was brought in, like promoing with The Rock. But like this is his first feud here. This is the definition of garbage mid-card feud. Like the complete opposite of main eventing.
They completely ignore his first handful of feuds because he feuds with China after this as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, for the Intercontinental title, like throughout the early 2000s, he's basically stuck feuding over the Intercontinental Championship.
Hey, they were co-Intercontinental champions.
Oh, don't remind me.
I've actually read a few of Chris Jericho's books, and I haven't read too many books. I'm not going to brag, but that's one of the things he sort of mentions is that he sort of floundered around a bit after that first promo with The Rock. So they like to look past that just to make it look like he's been a star from day dot, like you said.
He was basically in the same position that he was in WCW, just mid-card feud. So yeah, it was like barely a step up.
Yeah.
I also wanted to shout out Jericho using the double powerbomb as his finisher. Not enough people.
Sucked.
Not enough people. You reckon it sucked?
Yes.
It's 2 powerbombs, man.
Whoa.
Like twice the amount of impact, mate.
So nice, you had to do it twice.
Yeah. And you have to be strong to pick him up from the ground. Oh, another second one, bang.
Yeah, and you have to get your opponent to grab your arms to hold each other too.
Fuck, it's wrestling, man.
Come on, man, suspend your disbelief. Any final thoughts on Chris Jericho's debut in the ring here?
No, not really.
I just think Brody Price has an impression of Howard Finkel he'd like to whip out.
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot. What do you want me to say?
I don't know.
Something about energy drinks.
What was it called? What was the energy drink called?
Oh, who knows? 4 Loco.
No, I can't do it. Come back to me. Come back to think of something.
Well, there's going to be more Finkel appearances here because after the commercial, we see Chris Jericho talking to Howard Finkel backstage, and they start making fun of Tony Chimmel. Jericho tells Finkel to confront Chimmel, and I actually thought this segment was pretty funny. Finkel then runs out to the ring pretending to be the Ultimate Warrior. He shoves Chimmel down, but Chimmel retaliates and beats down Finkel. Jericho then comes to the ring and takes Finkel backstage, and I have no idea why any of this really happened. But then Ken Shamrock is coming to the ring. He apparently has a match with Val Venus. He kind of bumps shoulders with Jericho, and Jericho then sends Finkel after Shamrock while he's distracted with Finkel. Jericho grabs a chair and hits him in the back. Jericho then runs off, and Shamrock chases him. I liked the first little backstage bit with Jericho and Finkel, but after that, this goes for so long, and like this whole segment is so convoluted.
Yeah, I stopped sort of paying attention after Ken Shamrock came out. I thought that first bit was pretty good with Chimmel and the Fink. I thought that was pretty entertaining. I just have Chimmel clearing house like the fiery babyface that he is.
I feel like they usually make fun of Tony Chimmel. I feel like this is the only time I've ever seen like Chimmel like kind of go over someone. Like usually they're just making fun of him.
Yeah, there's usually a lot of jokes going his way.
Hypothetically, who did Ken Shamrock supposed to face?
Val Venus, they said on commentary.
Oh, I did not catch on that.
Yeah,
that would have been a barn burner.
Apparently supposed to face Val Venus, and when they announced that, I'm like, fuck, I don't have that in my notes here. Like, I don't have this as a match that's about to happen. I started scrambling, and then I'm like, oh no, it's okay. They've just worked me again.
Well, it's WWF TV.
Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. During this segment, I had the little thought popped into my head that the Attitude Era fucking sucked. Surely you guys agree with me.
There's some dog shit moments, for sure.
The wrestling sucks, but...
Oh, 100%.
Hey, this wasn't even a wrestling segment, and this was absolute balls. This was up there with bloody the Bailey This Is Your Life segment.
Howard Finkel came out as Ultimate Warrior, and they said he's some kind of warrior.
They literally used his music. Like they couldn't have made it more obvious.
But after this, we've got more promo segments. This time, Stephanie McMahon is making her way to the ring, and she's dressed like a 55-year-old woman, despite looking like she's still in her teens. She looks really young here. It's actually kind of weird to see, considering how she looks nowadays. Yeah. She also refers to Test as Andrew.
Andrew?
Andrew Test Martin. Is he still dead? Yes or no? Test comes out to the ring, and yes, he's still dead. He gets down on one knee, and Stephanie says yes. They start making out, but Shane McMahon and the Mean Street Posse run out and attack Test. Mankind then runs out with a chair and murders the Mean Street Posse for the second time tonight. Mankind then gets on the mic and tells Shane to leave the happy couple alone. Shane then hits Mankind with a chair, but Mankind fights back, and eventually a referee runs out and the match starts. So we see here Shane McMahon defeating Mankind via pinfall in 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Shane McMahon is all alone, and he's about to get introduced. Oh no, it's Socko! Stinking Mr. Socko! Payback is hell in the World Wrestling Federation!
What did we think of this match and the prior segment featuring our favourite wrestler of all time, Test?
Did it only go for 3 minutes?
The actual match, I don't know where they count it from, probably when Earl Hebner gets in the ring, because Earl Hebner never rings the bell. So I'm not really sure where it starts, but I assume it's just whenever he runs out.
That's right. I have that in my notes. I didn't read my notes. Yeah, he doesn't ring the bell. I thought that was so weird. He got in the ring, I was waiting for the bell to ring the whole time. I'm like, okay, they're just not going to ring it at all.
Earl Hebner's just a real suck-ass ref.
So it doesn't count. Shane didn't win. It's not a real match.
Yeah, Mankind's record in the record books should be altered to reflect that.
Technically, the bell at the end of the match is the bell that starts the match.
It's still going.
It's still going.
20 years old. Real barn burner. So actually, in this match, we see Test helping to fight off the Mean Street Posse, and then back in the ring, Mankind hits an underhook DDT and locks in the mandible claw. However, Chyna runs out here and distracts the referee, which allows Triple H to hit Mankind with a chair, and Shane gets the win here. Overall, I thought this sucked, and I was relieved when it was over.
Just a cluster muck, isn't it?
It was really the shizzling drits.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see Mankind wrestling Shane McMahon featuring, the Mean Street Posse. No one has any fun when that happens.
I've never seen the Mean Street Posse wrestle a match, and I don't think I ever want to. But all of this was just a mess. I couldn't get into any of it.
Yeah, it's hard to get invested into a segment where the Mean Street Posse are making a run in. And, I don't know, this match just doesn't really even feel like a match. It feels like a really extended, brawl from the start.
Yeah.
I know, just, it just doesn't really... It feels kind of out of place.
Yeah, that's fair.
So after the match is over, we cut backstage to Jericho, who's leaving the arena in a car. He locks Finkel out, and then Shamrock chases after the car, and then he also implies that Finkel has shit himself. So that's just the quality humour you get in 1999 WWF. After that, we see an interview between Michael Cole and the injured Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin addresses his knee problems and says he's going to kick Triple H's ass and take his championship next time they're in the ring together. Who do you think Michael Cole enjoyed interviewing more? Which bald superstar do you reckon he enjoyed more? Stone Cold here or Nathan Jones in 2002 or 3? 2003, I think.
Definitely Nathan Jones.
Well, he didn't get choked here, so probably
He choked.
Didn't he choke him? Is that what he
That was more of a yes, daddy kind of.
He chokes him and speaks like a pack-a-day smoker.
Yeah. Hey, tick-tock.
Tick-tock.
Somewhere in the middle.
Tick, you're dead. Oh, Nathan Jones, rest in peace. He's not dead, but his career is, so, you know, it's kind of the same thing.
Same thing.
We move on to what I'm going to assume is Pricey's favourite match of the night. Tori defeating Ivory in an evening gown match in 58 seconds.
We got an evening gown match here, King. This is it. And I think we got a naked woman on the way to the ring somewhere, too.
Almost cracked a minute.
I just want to say, when did they start using the bra and panties match term? Because this is just a bra and panties match where they made them wear different outfits.
I think they just change up whatever name.
Fucking evening gown match. Tori doesn't even wear an evening gown here. She just wears a shirt, a business shirt.
The WWF shirt.
Like, do they fuck up and only have one evening gown? So they're just like, I'll just go out in like Triple H's business shirt.
Why wasn't this from the title?
Who knows, man? Ivory doesn't even come to the ring with her women's championship.
I know.
Like, why? Like, real respect for the women's title there.
I've coined a new nickname for Jerry Lawler. It's
Throw it at us.
The King Pervert of Memphis. Like, he just loved every second of this.
He did. He was just salivating. It was even worse when he would host like one of like the swimsuit competitions they'd have in the ring. He's a real peak pervert during those.
Yeah, he was drooling a lot during those.
I just commented here, wrestling fans were so horny during this time.
You know what
should be?
You know what's great? Like the internet. Like you can just get some porn if you guys want. You don't have to watch wrestling for that.
So
shit
you don't have to
anymore.
watch wrestling where they just, you know, they might strip down to their underwear.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean you guys don't do that still?
What?
Watch wrestling to.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, if Adam Cole's working a match, maybe, but apart from that,
I regularly go back and watch the Halloween episodes when they have the other costume competitions.
Santa's little helper matches or whatever they were, Christmas time.
I just type in Big Dick Johnson in the search bar on WWE Network and watch all of his segments.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time.
It was something for the ladies, you know.
You gotta even it up. It's a family show. Everyone should enjoy something.
So Tori, as we mentioned, defeats Ivory in less than a minute, and then after the match, Tori keeps beating down Ivory. And then who is it that runs out? I kind of just brushed over this whole segment. Someone runs out to like pull her off.
Luna Vachon, isn't it?
Yeah, Luna Vachon, yeah.
That's why I couldn't find who the fifth person that's dead is. She's dead. I just didn't write her name down in my notes, so that's why. Yes, I knew we'd figure it out again. Yeah, the fifth dead person is Luna Vachon.
Well played.
She dies of like a drug overdose or something. So.
Oh, R.I.P. man.
This was her career highlight, being on the SmackDown debut episode.
Just being involved in an evening gown match.
I know, it should be a triple threat. Get her in there.
You boys want to have a triple threat evening gown match one time?
Yes, we'll live stream it on Twitter. Periscope it.
Won't be my proudest wank.
One of One of us will just wear a business shirt, though.
Yeah.
This is my
Shoddy.
evening.
I'm still wearing mine from the other night.
So after this, Hall of Fame worthy segment, we have Lillian Garcia interviewing Triple H backstage, and nothing really of note happens here, except Chyna grabbing the mic, and her voice is disgusting. We then cut to Al Snow, who's still searching for his dog, and then again, this was a real weird one. Test and Stephanie are kind of leaving the arena, and for some reason, Michael Cole and Earl Hebner and a few other random people run up and congratulate Test and Stephanie on their engagement, which I thought was really weird. Why does Michael Cole give a shit about this?
And JR goes on about it on commentary.
Yeah, they're really happy for Test and Stephanie to be together.
They're in love.
Leave those kids alone.
Probably trying to get an invite to the wedding.
I mean, it's going to be broadcast live on TV, so, they're going to have front row seats.
Michael Cole's trying to get on commentary for that show.
But yes, this segment happens and Test is still dead. So, true love can't save everything. Which leads us to our final match of the night, our main event.
Now here it comes. We're going to have a new champion. I think I'm smelling what the Rock's cooking here. People's elbow covered up, King. You're fixing to see the most electrifying move in sports entertainment today. Here it comes. It's over. Oh, what the hell? Shawn Michaels, the super kick, the Rock. What? My God.
Triple H defeating The Rock via pinfall to retain the WWF World Heavyweight Championship in 9 minutes and 43 seconds. Shawn Michaels is the special guest referee here, and with this match only going 9:43, it's the longest match on the card, but it doesn't even go 10 minutes, which basically sums up the Attitude Era, matches not going very long.
Yeah, there was a pretty heavy emphasis, I guess, back then on character and segments and stuff like that, and not really on the wrestling, as you can tell by the standard. But one thing I noticed throughout the match and throughout the show is they hadn't really gone full on with his name yet. Had he recently changed his name to Triple H?
He would have, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
In 1999, it would have been pretty recent.
I think Stone Cold refers to him as Hunter Hearst Helmsley in the interview, and then during the match, Ross refers to him as Helmsley rather than Triple H.
Oh no, they do that for a while afterwards.
Yeah,
they say Helmsley.
Yeah, because they even emphasise that Helmsley, when he marries Stephanie, so
Yeah,
they're really persistent with that, and then eventually they're just fuck it, just say Triple H, it's shorter.
Yeah, so that put me off a bit. I wasn't sure why they kept calling him that. He's not the blue blood anymore.
The thing that put me off was Shawn Michaels' interesting referee attire.
Would you call it even a referee attire?
Are you referring to his Wrestling Academy shirt?
Yeah.
First of all, shout out to Shawn Michaels. He's real carny here, wearing his Wrestling Academy shirt with the phone number on the back. He's really just, smart advertising there. Do you reckon that's where Daniel Bryan found out about his Wrestling Academy?
Yeah, it's right after he just crank one out to the Evening Gala match. And then saw
Daniel Bryan
on
just
the back there.
rubbing his little wiener, going, yes, yes, yes.
And his hands were so sticky he couldn't even get his fingers out of his fist so he could do the yes.
The fingers were so sticky he couldn't even dial the numbers on the phone.
Yes.
That's a visual I'm not going to be able to get out of my head.
Yeah, he had to quickly try and put his hog away when he saw Shawn Michaels come out in his bike shorts. They were real skin tight. It's shit, put it away. This looks gay.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, we're just kind of discussing Triple H's first title win happening on Raw. And I just thought here, I reckon they should have saved Triple H's title win for this night. It would have really emphasised how big of a deal they were treating SmackDown right off the bat, and especially in contrast to the way WCW were treating Thursday Night Thunder.
I disagree.
You disagree? How come?
Why would you want the heel winning the title? Why wouldn't you just, if you're saying you want it to be a big moment, why wouldn't you just have The Rock win it?
It's a big title change, though, It doesn't matter who wins it.
Yeah, but no one gave a fuck. He's a heel. They're booing the shit out of him.
Well, I can't take you serious when you say he's a heel.
Yeah, I can't take you serious when your internet cuts out.
Yeah, that was really bad timing for you to cut out.
I don't know what you said, buddy.
Well, you know what? The fans will hear me because the recording is on my side, so they hear everything I say. So you used to sound like dipshits.
Yeah, I said that to one of you. Like, we sounded like the biggest fuckheads last week because everything you said came through perfectly, but we were just standing there like just not saying anything.
It's kind of like a kind of new age comedy, you know. You're kind of laughing your ass off, and the fans will be like, "The fuck are they laughing at? They've been smoking that devil's lettuce before they recorded."
What did you say though when he?
I said I can't take Nat serious when he says he's a heel.
He's cornet voice.
He's a heel.
There we go.
Triple heel. Hunter Hearst heel. So, as for the actual match, we pretty early on we see Shawn Michaels ejecting Chyna after she low blows The Rock. Her second low blow of the night, and I just wrote here, Nat kind of beat me to the punchline here, but I said Chyna has extensive experience with low blows. Check out some of her later career work, in the mid-2000s before she, hit the dust.
I can't believe you made a reference to that. That's funny.
Oh, look, you can't have a show with Chyna on it without making a reference to that.
I guess not.
So later in the match, Shane McMahon runs down, but he doesn't enter the ring to be a referee for some reason, even though he's been put in here as a referee. And then for the finish of the match, The Rock goes for the People's Elbow, but shockingly, HBK super kicks him, allowing Triple H to hit the pedigree and retain his title. Nat, you've got to stop fucking with the Google Doc. For those listening along at home, he's changed Shawn Michaels ejects Chyna to Shawn Michaels ejaculates Chyna. We're trying to run a mature podcast here.
It's a harmless rib.
You really had to highlight it with the yellow as well to catch my eye. So what did we think of this match here, the main event?
I didn't see the heel turn coming. Like I said, I hadn't watched this, and all I knew was that Triple H and Rock had a match, but that super kick legitimately scared the shit out of me. I assume Triple H was still going to go over, but someone else would interfere. But good for HBK.
Well,
yeah,
I've seen this, so
yeah, you wouldn't have been shocked by it. But I was the same. I was shocked by I guess it's kind of a heel turn from HBK, even though I was kind of questioning why at this point Shawn Michaels and Triple H were kind of not buddies. I thought that was kind of weird. I didn't really know why they weren't together. But yeah, even when HBK eventually turns out to be, still working with Triple H, I was shocked by it. I really shouldn't have been. I got worked way too much on this episode of SmackDown.
Well, no.
I probably shouldn't be hosting a podcast. I'm getting worked too much. What did you think of the match though, Nat? You weren't shocked by the twist at the end, the Sixth Sense level twist?
It was a good SmackDown match. Nothing to say that was bad. I don't know, 10 minutes, and then I don't know, just average compared to their pay-per-view matches they've had.
Yeah, it's not an amazing match or anything. I thought it was a fine match. Overall, it was probably the only match of actual decent quality on the entire show, which probably makes it seem even better than it is. But yeah, I reckon if you're going to book an Attitude Era main event for the SmackDown debut, this is probably as perfect as you'd want. You got run-ins from Chyna, HBK just out of nowhere super kicking The Rock. It's got all the elements there. The only thing that's really missing from this main event is an appearance from Stone Cold.
Yeah, he could have made a run-in after the match and just Stone Cold stun everyone, drink some beers.
So that would have sent the fans home happy.
I probably missed the boat there.
Maybe they did that on the after the show on the dark match, like a dark.
I just want to point out that you said that Triple H shouldn't have won the title in the main event of this because like no one would have cared. It was the heel winning, but the heel wins this anyway.
Yeah, I don't book WWE, do I? But no, the whole point was you were saying he should have won it, but no one that it was his first title.
Okay, maybe instead of that happening, they should have had Mr. Kennedy, MVP, Carlito, and Shelton Benjamin form a stable in the main event of this SmackDown. They're the real SmackDown 6.
Man, but it came out an hour late from when they should have been out there.
But what if The Rock came back and formed a new Nation of Domination?
Yeah, you could have The Rock, and then you could have MVP, Mark Henry. Teddy Long could be their mouthpiece. You have to throw a woman in there, so maybe Naomi, because she can dance good. So
Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan will return at some point in a big angle, and nobody will pop for it because no one cares for Jason Jordan.
Angle.
Maybe you'll. Wait, I don't think you're in that part of WWE 2K.
If you want to have a WWE 2K chat right now, I am on Raw currently. I've just been transferred to Raw.
Oh, get out of town! I'm not there yet, man.
You get a bit of an encounter with Jason Jordan.
Oh, I can't wait. Why don't they call Jason Jordan Jason Angle?
That would be funny.
They should.
Just a little Jason Jordan chat for everybody out there who's waiting on, bated breath for Jason Jordan's return.
I did not think we were going to talk about Jason Jordan on this podcast.
I'm changing it. This is the official Jason Jordan podcast now.
Yeah.
Yep,
we just review a different Jason Jordan match every week.
Oh, that sounds like the best podcast.
Kind of like my Alf podcast, but with Jason Jordan.
Hey, we had some podcast account like my tweet or retweet it or something, so that's probably going to happen soon. You'll get a notification about it.
We should just review the Jason Jordan finding out his Kurt Son episode every week.
Why don't we just review segments in WWE that have involved people revealing who their son is? We can have the Hornswoggle is Vince's son. Jason Jordan is Kurt Angle's son. I'm sure there's at least one more.
Nathan's my son, I'm pretty sure. Oh, did I just reveal that then? Oh, fuck.
DNA test on a pole match. Yeah, we can have Eddie and Ray feuding for Dominic.
Oh, that tugs at the heartstrings, that one.
So do we have any final thoughts on the main event here?
No, not really.
It's definitely a match that happened.
Out of all of them?
Shawn Michaels ejaculates on China. And Daniel Bryan dials the phone number on the back of Shawn Michaels' shirt, What more could you ask for? So what did we think was the match or segment of the night here on the first ever episode of SmackDown?
Best segment was Finkel and Chimmel. Best match, probably the last one, if I'm being serious.
What about you, Nat?
There's too many good ones to choose.
Yeah, there's definitely it's definitely hard to choose this week, isn't it?
I actually don't really. I'm just gonna have to say the main event because it's long, but I just liked all the segments with the energy drinks.
I'm gonna cut together a compilation of every time the energy drink is shown on screen, and I'm gonna post it on the Instagram.
Yeah, my phone would be a bit sticky.
Oh, you're such an energy drink guy, man. You gotta slow down. You might end up like Test if you keep drinking those energy drinks. It's bad for your heart.
What if X-Pac went to drink one but it was empty? Like I could say, X-Pac's a tease.
Oh, that energy drink is such a tease. Personally, I think match of the night easily goes to the main event. Everything else is not great. Even the stellar Tori defeating Ivory in an evening gown matches can't stack up to the main event. For a random segment, I didn't really enjoy any of the segments. Maybe the first bit of the Jericho and Finkel backstage segment. I think that probably is the one backstage segment that I actually enjoyed. So what did we think was the worst match or segment of the night?
Has to be the evening gown match.
It's pretty hard to top.
I don't think there's a single wrestling move in that.
Yeah.
Tori throws a few punches after it's finished.
Left hand punch.
Woman slap number 2. One of the great moves in the old WWF games.
Well, I'll say for worst segment, Shamrock saying Finkel crapped his pants.
Yeah, that's a fair shout.
Personally, I reckon worst match. The one I least enjoyed, I reckon it's probably hard to go past the tag team title match. That was pretty dog shit. I mean, they're all pretty bad. You could throw any in there.
That was a clusterfuck, that one.
For a segment, probably the never-ending Finkel Chris Jericho segment. Even though I like the start of that, oh my god, that goes on forever and ever. Price, have you figured out what your worst segment is yet?
No, all of them. I think I agree with Nat when Shamrock says that he shit his pants.
It's pretty bad.
That's not great.
I feel like you being so stumped here about what the worst one is just goes to show how bad this episode is.
I mean, you do a lucky dip if you want. Pick one out. That'll be my answer.
We complain so much about like the quality of Raw and SmackDown these days, but if the episodes like in 2018 were airing in 1999, people would probably be losing their shit. Whoever, like, what? We have a 15-minute match in the main event? They're just used to these 58-second matches.
Yeah.
So, do we have any final overall thoughts about the first ever episode of SmackDown?
I'm glad it's over.
I'm going to shock you boys. This is my favorite thing we've covered so far.
Surely not.
It is. How shit it was, actually. I laughed a lot at how bad some of these things were. And I don't know. I thought Howard Finkel and Chris Jericho is quite the pairing, and that should be...
Hold the fucking phone. So you enjoyed this more than seeing your fucking fuck buddy Goldberg win?
We gave you an episode where you could just nut all over the place about Goldberg and his stupid goatee.
Like you cleaned your pipes like 50 times an episode.
Hey man. Hey, let's be honest. He's wearing his WCW gear. It's not the real start of Goldberg's run.
Oh, he was such a tease.
He was just wrestling He was wrestling that jobber. I don't know his name.
You've disrespected Goldberg. You've disrespected Nathan Jones's career.
You've disrespected the Wrestle Hunks fuckers.
Hey, to all the motherfuckers out there, I'm sorry, but I love Howard Finkel.
You know what the motherfuckers would be saying right now? Brody Price, you're such a tease.
I hope they are saying that.
Oh, we need to put that on a shirt. Just, you're such a tease in big old letters.
You're such a tease, yeah.
Maybe a silhouette of Test.
Have that shitty razor blade thing he has.
Yeah.
That weird crucifix type fucking thing that he's got.
Oh, God.
Whew. So I think that does this for the first ever episode of SmackDown. And ending on the very controversial comments from Brody Price. So that leads us to the aftermath of the debut episode. In the September 6 Wrestling Observer newsletter, we have a little bit of news about the ratings. The ratings for the debut episode of SmackDown were decent, but both WWF and UPN were slightly disappointed that they weren't higher, especially since UPN is 100% relying on SmackDown to save the fledgling network. WCW Thunder, which did absolutely nothing to try to counter against the debut of SmackDown airing at the same time, did its lowest ratings ever, and the numbers will likely drop more in future weeks as SmackDown established itself. I just want to point out at this point in time, Kevin Nash is the head booker of WCW Thunder, and I was reading a few Wrestling Observers around the time, and apparently, like, Kevin Nash would never show up to the show.
Wow.
So no wonder, like, it's just absolutely doing dog shit. I also heard a story about WCW Thunder that they're wanting to do some big angle with Ric Flair, and they'd booked it for the main event, and for some reason they forgot to tell Ric Flair that he needed to show up for the Thunder taping. So, like, during the day, they were scrambling. They got Ric Flair on the phone. They're like, get to the arena as quickly as you can. And they were kind of, like, preparing some backup plans. And Ric Flair gets to the arena with 10 minutes to go, and they tell him, sorry, we've already rebooked the finish of the show. So basically he flew out there for nothing.
Wow.
That's the most WCW thing I could ever imagine.
So you've got that happening on WWE's Thursday show, and then compare it to the way SmackDown kicks off. It's basically just like an extension of Raw. Like, major things are happening. Couldn't be more different in the WWF. Could you also imagine in 2018 the WWE being disappointed in a 4.2 rating?
What are they getting now? Is it like just over 2 or something?
Yeah.
SmackDown did like a 2.1 recently, I'm pretty sure. Raw, I can look it up.
I dare you to go on WWE's Instagram and talk about how low the ratings are.
I'll go on WWE's Instagram and I'll praise them going to Saudi Arabia.
Because look how many people reply and go,
But the stock prices are the highest they've ever had.
One thing that plays into it is that not a lot of people would be watching live. There's like a lot of different avenues to watch it. So I don't know how, like, do those ratings, like, how accurate are they?
they have 7-day ratings, and then there's like another set of ratings, and then another set.
That's like the big like thing. The ratings in America, like they're kind of like not very accurate these days because people like are watching it in like way different ways. I bet so many people are getting all of their like Raw and SmackDown viewing from the highlights they post on YouTube.
Yeah, look how many views they get.
And like, I bet even a lot of people would probably be using This Week in WWE on the network as like their way to watch it. Because like, I mean, it's a lot of wrestling. You can't like watch it every week. It's a pretty big time commitment. So I bet there's probably even people that like catching up with the like a month later Raw and SmackDowns on the network. So like, it's not really accurate. But believe it or not, Raw did its lowest ratings in the program's history in September.
Yeah, it did 3 in a row or something.
It did, I think, I can't see, where is it? 2.35 million viewers over its 3-hour time slot, which isn't great, but I feel like their ratings are going to go up when they go to Fox.
I should put some of those old timers on, like Triple H and The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. That'll bump ratings up.
You want to know how they really will pop ratings? Have Test and Chris Benoit both return on the same night and be like, there was a fucking hoax, they're not dead. We just pranked you guys.
I'd fucking mark out.
I bet
WWE owns the characters.
Yeah, they could have new ones.
Could you fucking imagine if they tried that?
Fake Test.
Right now,
Oh
I
my
guarantee you, I could book the highest rating Raw ever. You have Kevin Sullivan come out on Raw and announce in the middle of the ring that he was the one that killed the Benoit family.
If you advertise that as Kevin Sullivan's speaking out about that live on Raw, people will tune in.
That'll be unbelievable. It'll be way higher than any of the highest rated Raw segments in history.
I'm going to try to go to the PC and be Fake Test.
Just got to, you've either got to roid up a lot to be like later era Test, or you've just got to grow your hair out and grow a nice goatee to be the early era Test. Maybe there could be 2 tests. One comes out Test and they have in brackets 2000, and then another Test comes out and they have in brackets 2003.
I think it would say Test and in brackets T's.
Test from the Tease era and Test from the Stephanie McMahon era. So we've got some notes from Raw the following week after this debut episode. Undertaker isn't wrestling at the moment because he has a torn groin, but he's still appearing on Raw. Also, Mankind clearly returned too early from his knee surgeries and has also gained a lot of weight and is looking real bad in the ring. New ring announcer Lillian Garcia has been making a lot of mistakes, and Dave doesn't have high hopes for her sticking around long, but he couldn't have been more wrong for that. She was around for an eternity. He also said Big Show has never been worse in the ring.
I disagree.
Yeah, he looked like a real powerhouse winning that entire match by himself.
You did.
It's because he has the knowledge. So we also see the Dudley Boys debuting on SmackDown. They beat up the other tag teams with 2x4s, and afterwards they cut a promo backstage with Bubba Ray doing his old stuttering gimmick and Devon doing his catchphrase from ECW, the "Thou shall not fuck with the Dudleys" line, except it was changed to "mess with" instead of "fuck." The WWF were also saying that Road Dogg was going to be recording an album, and that's why he was going to be off TV for a couple of months, and why they were claiming he was injured by Jericho. Except this album never comes about, disappointingly. I would be blasting a Road Dogg album. I don't know about you boys.
Spend my days working hard on the go.
Do you know how many times I heard that right before WrestleMania this year from Nat?
I can't wait to be alone with my baby.
Oh, shit.
More importantly than Road Dogg recording an album, it was reported that the WWF was close to signing Sylvester Terkay at this point. Which
Hottest free agent in Yugoslavia.
I was shocked that Sylvester Terkay was close to being signed there. I just wanted to notice that this podcast ends up featuring Sylvester Terkay way too much, considering Sylvester Terkay had one of the shortest runs in WWE history.
The Man Bear? Is that what it was called?
The Man Bear, yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe he didn't get over.
Oh, he ended up just being a dude who would stand in the corner while Elijah Burke would just pick up wins. So we also saw WWF returning to Kansas City and the Kemper Arena for the first time since Owen Hart's death for a house show, and a lot of the wrestlers reportedly said it was uncomfortable and eerie to be wrestling in that arena again. The September 13th Wrestling Observer newsletter has some more news about the SmackDown ratings. This week's episode of WWF SmackDown saw the ratings drop half a point from last week's debut. It's interesting because Raw is always the number one rated show every week on cable at this period, but on network TV, SmackDown was ranked 73 out of 122 shows in primetime. It goes to show that despite the surging popularity among the masses, wrestling is still somewhat of a fringe thing for casual viewers, but it's also worth noting that UPN isn't on the same level as the big-name networks. WWF had planned to keep Steve Austin off TV until after the next pay-per-view, but the ratings drop was enough of a concern that they brought him back for the third SmackDown taping and heavily advertised his appearance on Raw, which Meltzer thinks was a bit of an overreaction to a relatively minor ratings drop. They still destroyed WCW Thunder, though, which set a new all-time record low rating. So a lot of people seem to think that SmackDown will start to do better ratings than Raw when both shows are on Fox next year. What do you reckon about that? Do you reckon there's ever going to be a chance of SmackDown outrating Raw?
Are they both on Fox?
Yeah, they both got signed to Fox, you know?
I thought it was just Raw. I don't know. I don't have any thoughts on television ratings because I don't get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, neither.
I mean, good for them.
Surely you've got something to say now.
I have no fucking idea. I thought it was just SmackDown.
No, they're both going to Raw. I'm both going to Raw. They're both going to Fox.
Well, fuck, I'm going to NXT as fake test.
SmackDown's real jacked. It's definitely going to NXT.
I'm a SmackDown guy though. I much prefer SmackDown to Raw. Always have. I bleed blue, you know.
I like SmackDown more now that Shane McMahon is nowhere to be seen.
Do you know who is there on SmackDown?
No, I don't know. Fill me in.
Paige here.
Oh, well. Everybody check out Fighting With My Family. That movie will probably come out sometime in the next decade.
I felt like they were advertising it like a year out.
The audacity of them to release a trailer for that movie like 3 years in advance.
It's fucking ridiculous.
So moving on, the WWF have tried to get Shawn Michaels to renegotiate his contract with them, but it didn't work. Michaels is still collecting his $750,000 per year guarantee, despite not wrestling for a year and a half and only appearing on TV periodically since then. But Michaels is feeling that he was injured in their ring and he shouldn't have to renegotiate to new terms, so he refused, and the WWF is stuck paying him. That basically kind of sums up this era in the WWF. As for SmackDown, it would air on UPN until 2006 when it moved to the CW. Since then, it has been on My Network TV and Sci-Fi. It's currently airing on USA, and next year it will be moving to Fox alongside Monday Night Raw. But most importantly, it'll still be on Fox 8 here. So all the Aussies can check it out.
Never wavering. Fox 8 always delivers.
Fox 8 always delivers. Remember, even like they would have like the non-stop Simpsons marathon, and always the one exception would be where they're still showing the wrestling.
Yeah, of course, you have to.
Yeah, it would always do the don't worry, we're still showing the wrestling.
Which I appreciate that.
I've forgotten about that, but mad respect.
And they knew that Fox 8 was really the Simpsons and wrestling channel. Everything else was just filling in time.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that does us for this episode. Thanks for listening to the Wrestle Hunks podcast. You can find the show on Twitter at Wrestle Hunks Pod. You can also find the show on Instagram now. It's the same tag on Instagram, isn't it?
Wrestle Hunks Pod.
Yeah, for both.
Yeah, real, just uniform naming from us. We're all on the same page here. So I'm on Twitter as @SourceMarlow. Pricey is on Twitter as @EvilBrodyPrice, and Nat is on Twitter as @NateMarlow. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, basically any service that supports podcasts. Also, feel free to rate us on iTunes. Give us that old Dave Meltzer 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome rating. This brings us to the part of the podcast where we throw up potential ideas for what we will cover next week. And we were initially going to do an episode just featuring all different wrestlers' careers, but I kind of put that on the back burner because Nathan Jones' career episode was just last week. So have you boys actually got any suggestions yet, or should I talk about my suggestion before you throw yours out?
Yeah, stall for us.
Well, in the meantime, while they figure their shit out, I've decided to select Halloween Havoc 1991. It's the first of the shitty Halloween Havocs we kind of have on our list of episode ideas, and I've decided to do it because it's October, the Halloween time, real spooky theme going around in the air. So I decided I'll chuck up Halloween Havoc 91. It's surely going to be dog shit. It's a WCW pay-per-view. We haven't done one of those yet, so hopefully it produces the goods.
Not one that's gotten to air. I'm going to go with... I had this in mind for the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to do Judgment Day 2003, which is the follow-up for Backlash. No, Goldberg's not on it.
Disappointing.
But the match that we talked about when we were covering Backlash is Eddie and Tajiro's Team Angle. I just really want to watch that. I can't be bothered going out of my way to watch it, so I thought I'd throw it up and hopefully it gets voted for.
What about you, Nat? You got a suggestion yet?
I'm just going to say Halloween Havoc 2000.
Halloween Havoc 2000. Okay, you copying my theme, eh?
Oh, I couldn't find anything, and they didn't prepare. So fuck it.
Oh, we've got to throw up a wild card suggestion as well.
One of the shitty Raws or SmackDowns with the Halloween.
There's a lot of SmackDown. It was like the SmackDown thing, wasn't it, to be sort of airing on Halloween?
What about the Halloween SmackDown where John Cena first comes out in his rapper gimmick?
The one where he's like Vanilla Ice or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Okay, John Cena rapper gimmick one. So our suggestions for this week on the Twitter poll are Halloween Havoc 1991, Nat threw up Halloween Havoc 2000, and Pricey put in Judgment Day 2003. And our wildcard suggestion is the debut of the John Cena rapper gimmick on whichever Halloween episode of SmackDown that was. So look out for that poll this week. I'm hoping we crack 100 eventually. All the hunkermaniacs / motherfuckers get out on the Twitter. And just, it takes 1 second to click on an option. I don't even care if you don't care about the option. Just click on it.
Yeah, that's what I try to throw out there. It's like, who gives a fuck? Just put something in. we'll appreciate it. Just choose whatever. It doesn't matter.
All of the shows here are shit, so we all win in the end.
Exactly.
But yeah, that basically does us. Do we have any final words?
Any thoughts on SmackDown 1000? Do we want to get to that before, like this will air before SmackDown 1000 probably? Not as excited, or?
I don't know. I think it'll be a fun little nostalgia show, but I don't think there's going to be much wrestling happening. They've announced like so many dudes returning. I'm expecting like Shinsuke versus Rey, and that's basically it. Which that'll be interesting as fuck to watch.
That's the one thing I'm excited about. I'm very excited to see Rey finally back. Obviously, we saw him at the Rumble, and was he in the Saudi show as well?
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so, we've only seen him twice in WWE this year, and then so this would be cool to see him back home.
I'm looking forward to getting my Foxtel remote sticky.
Tori Wilson's going to be there, man.
I hope Rey Mysterio jumps out of a little box when he makes his entrance.
Oh, that's the one thing. Like, if there's not the fist entrance, I'm going to be fucking upset.
There has to be. They did the spear through the set thing, so 100% they've surely got to have a fist like set. They can't tease like that.
How cool.
Why don't they just have all of the sets combined?
Oh, like the old Scrap Trap match in WWE 2K19's My Career Mode.
That's so bad.
Hey man, that was a funny thing.
WCW's Thunder Cage.
Oh, so I guess that wraps us up here. That's all for this week. Stay hunky.